So a common question we get is, how many units of Botox will I need? And that really is a great question because it has to do with price and everything else. So there's different areas that we treat with Botox. The most common thing we treat with Botox is the position of the brow. We want the brow to be elevated. We want the brow to have open eyes. And a lot of times people think about the lines. The lines are just really running perpendicular to the muscle. So the main concern is right between the eyes, a strong glabellar complex. It's usually looking at between 20 or 30 units just for this area. However, I never treat just this area without stabilizing the lateral brow and putting about 5 units on each side here. Because we just do this central portion, this muscle is going to hit a little bit, and the brow centrally may drop, or you may get a distorted brow. So when you see that odd brow shape where the laterals lifted up, that's because they didn't do the entire brow. So typically at the very minimum, we're going to do 20 or 30 units here and 5 units per side. So 30 to 40 units would be very typical just for those lines. The crow's feet, these are the lines around here. Typically we're doing about 10 per side on average, that's typical. Obviously a younger person with milder lines might use less than that, and a man with thicker lines more than that, but usually about 10. The forehead, that's the most commonly overtreated area of Botox, and it's actually the biggest mistake we can make when we're approaching the person with lines in their forehead. The reason we get forehead lines, I don't have any Botox, I haven't used it, because I don't care. People might care and they want it, I don't care, so I don't do it, but I know how to perform Botox. The lines in the forehead are caused by very strong depressor muscles, and the only way I can see is by doing this all the time, so my forehead has become lined. Now an option would be to do a forehead lift, which I don't want, or to do Botox, or just leave it alone. If I just put Botox in my forehead lines, what would happen is that because this muscle is now paralyzed, my brow would drop and I wouldn't even be able to see. So we do for people who have forehead lines primarily, I don't touch them on the first visit. I do glabella and lateral orbit. So I'll do like 20 or 30, 5 and 5, and then I wait 2 weeks, reassess the brow position. Generally the brow is lifted up, the forehead lines are already softer, and I ask the patient, do you like the brow lift? And if they like the brow lift, I say, how much do you want to give up? And they say none, we leave the forehead alone because usually it's better enough you can leave it be, and over time the lines just fade away. If I do treat the forehead lines afterwards, I'm using a very light dose of Botox and placing it very high to avoid a brow drop. And typically between 4 and 6 or 8, maybe 10 units would be like maximum with most people. But we want to undertreat the forehead. And to get the forehead lines the most smooth, we weaken the muscles that depress the brow, and we just wait for the lines to naturally relax, and then we decide, are they bad enough that we're going to treat them now? Because typically they will get better at rest, but then when you're expressive, when you're raising your eyes up, you have lines there, but we want to maintain the ability to be expressive. The things that depress your brow make you look sad, tired, angry. Raise the brow is how you look interested, alert, maybe attracted to somebody, so we want to maintain positive expressions. Other areas we commonly use Botox are for the lines on the side of the nose. We're usually using about 5 units for both sides total, like 2.5 per side. Somebody might have a downturned corners of the mouth, and we weaken a muscle called the depressor angularis oris, 2.5 per side. Some people have strong mandibles and strong masseter muscles, and we use about 15 units per side for somebody that's got a kind of a wide cheek or has TMJ syndrome. In most of my patients, I'm doing 20 to 30 units here, 10 and 10, so 40 to 60 units of Botox is the vast majority of people. That's the range of Botox we're going to get. And we're doing what I call pan-facial Botox. We're doing kind of all the lines, and we might be looking at 50 to 65 units, and you can figure out the cost from that. So minimum Botox is not going to be a small number of units. It's going to be somewhere around 20 to 30 would be a very light dose, and a heavy dose would be about 60 units to 70 units of Botox.